Ladies and gentlemen, the world is on edge. The skies have lit up with fire and the cries of nations ring louder than ever before. Death to America, they chant in the streets of Tehran and the Iranian parliament. With passion, with fury, with a determination that doesn't even waver. But what do? We point fingers. We look to one man, Donald J. Trump, and blame him for the chaos. We say he's the one that provoked it. We say he's the one that escalated it. We say he's the villain, just like we always do. But I stand before you today not to defend every word he's ever said, not to pretend he's a perfect human being, but to remind you that this time, Trump isn't trying to destroy anything like many love to believe. He's actually trying to save you. Yeah, you. You sitting on your couch, thinking this doesn't involve you whatsoever. You busy tweeting Orange Man bad, while real nuclear threats are being cooked up in secret bunkers you've never even heard of. You don't have to like Trump. He's loud. He's brash, he rubs people the wrong way. But behind the noise, there's something you're refusing to see. That this time, he's actually the guy trying to stop the spiral, just like he always would. He's the one who's actually saying, if we don't act now, we are going to regret it when the sky lights up red. Iran chanting death to America isn't just theater for you to watch on TikTok anymore. They mean it, and Trump knows that. So what's the next move? Not war. Prevention, a hard, uncomfortable, politically incorrect shield to stop what could become a mushroom cloud in the name of your moral neutrality. Because this isn't the man coming to break your beautiful world. It's the man who is standing in the way of those who already decided to burn it. You don't have to love him, but if you can't respect what he's trying to do, then I don't know, maybe he's not the one who's very entitled in this situation. 3 nuclear sites in Iran have just been bombed by US forces. Natanz, Isfahan, Fordow. These weren't playgrounds for children, they weren't gardens. They were high-security nuclear facilities capable of producing enriched weapons that could wipe out civilizations as we know it. Mass destruction. The kind that doesn't just destroy buildings, it erases history, vaporizes generations and generations, and poisons futures. So let me ask you this. Would you rather watch as nuclear warheads get quietly built, assembled, and distributed to allies who chant for your death? Or do you want to take a powerful, difficult, morally great decision to reduce that risk before it escalates beyond repair? That's my question, because that's what Trump did. You think he enjoyed doing that? You think he pressed that button with a smile? You think he wanted to be the face of this controversy? I mean, he always is, because you guys always make it like that. But history doesn't wait for everyone to feel good. Alright, sometimes someone has to make the decision no one else has the stomach to make. Because if he didn't, if the US didn't act, the next chapter could have been written with fire and ash. Tell me if I'm telling lies. But here's what frustrates me the most. Every time Trump does something, or he acts, we ignore the act, we zoom in on the man, we dissect his past, his tone, his tweets, his hair, his bankruptcies. We do everything but talk about the actual merit of the choice at hand. Oh, he was Epstein's friend. You're trying to tell me that their leadership is sitting at peace tables and drinking coffee while discussing peace treaties? No, Iran is plotting. Iran is arming. Iran is aligning with anti-Western powers to ensure their position in what they believe will be a new world order. You want to see the future if no one acts? Then turn your eyes to Ukraine. Look at the rubble over there. Look at the children with blood on their faces. Dissected. That's what inaction looks like. So Trump took action so that that doesn't happen again. And now the world wants to burn him at the stake for it. Why? Because he isn't eloquent? Because he's a racist? Because he doesn't sip tea with diplomats and post selfie videos quoting Gandhi and Mandela? Give me a break. Bruv, because this isn't a personality contest, this is a war. This is diplomacy by other means. Okay? Sometimes it's much bigger than just tweets, and you need to look deep into that. The hard way too. And look, I know some of you are uncomfortable as I say this. You hear death to America on the news, and it rattles your soul. I know, but it should. It should jolt you awake, because those words are not metaphors. They are promises. They are promises from ideologies that despise everything the West stands for. Freedom, progress, equality, choice, actual genders. These are not just Western luxuries, they are human rights. And yes, sometimes we must fight to protect them, just like how you would resort to fighting to protect your loved ones. Now, some of you might say, but innocent people were hurt in the strike, Summer. And I agree with you. That is the tragedy of war, unfortunately. But I ask you, where was your voice when innocent people were locked in Iranian prisons for daring to speak their minds? Where was your outrage when young girls were beaten for showing their hair? Or when protesters disappeared overnight without a trace till this day? This isn't a game of picking the perfect hero. This is about understanding that the world is nothing but a battlefield of intentions, and Trump's intention in this case was to avoid something far, far worse. He is not trying to start a war. He is trying to stop one before it starts, because prevention is better than cure. And here's the final point you need to understand. This will affect you. If Iran gets nuclear capabilities and decides to use them, even once, it will trigger a global chain reaction. It will not stay in the Middle East. Trust me, it will not stay between Iran and Israel. Trust me. Or Iran and the US. It will pull up in China, Russia, NATO, and you, the average citizen just trying to pay the bills and survive, you will be drafted. You will be taxed more for oil and so forth. You will feel the inflation, the blackouts, the shortages. Who am I kidding? We already have load shedding in South Africa. You will become nothing but a footnote in someone else's power struggle. So what would you prefer, good people? 3 nuclear sites taken out, or the collapse of the world economy and the beginning of another potential global war? And as I'm saying this, I can already feel them coming. I can feel the keyboard warriors, the media parrots, the Trump derangement syndrome patients, as I like to call them, saying, he's a warmonger, he's insane, he's going to start World War III. Oh yeah? Because in every argument Trump is in, he just has to be the wrong guy, right? He's always the wrong guy. You don't even listen anymore, do you? You decided the villain before the scene even played. How is that fair? You're not watching history unfold. You're just watching your emotions echo and listening to them anyway. You really think bombing 3 nuclear sites in Iran is worse than letting Iran build the nukes? So you're mad at the firefighter for kicking down the door while the house burns. You just want to let it burn and let other houses burn. Be honest, if it was Obama or Biden doing this exact move, you would call it bravery. But just because it's Trump, he must be evil, right? Because he was friends with Epstein. This isn't about liking Trump. This isn't about any of that. It's about survival. This is about global nuclear escalation, okay? And it needs to be flattened before it goes any further. So go ahead, make your posts. Continue making those propaganda posts. Because I'm not here to glorify war. I hate it. But I hate cowardice even more, because cowardice wrapped in moral language is still cowardice, just like all the industry plants you listen to who tell you the nonsense they tell you in the news. So the next time someone says Trump is the villain, I want you to ask this, based on what? Even if it's an SABC reporter telling you that. Based on his tone, his ego, or is it because he did something brave that others wouldn't, especially the person who's telling you that nonsense? Trump is not a saint. But in a room full of fake smiles and trembling hands, sometimes the loudest, most hated man is the only one with the guts to pull the brake before the train derails. Say what you want, but understand this. He made a call, and that call might have saved your life. So pick 3 nuclear sites taken down or a nuclear world war. You choose. You are the citizen after all, the tax-paying citizen. But make sure your choice comes with your eyes wide open. Wide open, because when history looks back at this moment, it won't give a flying ham sandwich how you felt about the man. It will care whether the world burned or didn't. This is the Summer Sambit, and like always, I'll see you next time.